Mark, we have a couple of minutes here just to get into a couple of things. And Mark Stiles from Stiles Law on Route 139. One of the things that we've talked about in the past that Mark has is he's got a ton of YouTube videos. One of the things I was seeing was about homestead declaration. I was seeing that up on your YouTube channel, and I wanted to know a little bit more about that and how it helps people.
Yeah, you know, Rob, it's a great question, and that's why we have a bunch of videos. We keep making more videos about that because people keep talking and asking about homestead declarations. It's such an important conversation, and it's part of the real estate conversation, the real estate closing, but it's also part of our estate planning practice because, you know, estate plans, we've talked about missions, values, goals, what do you want to see happen, but you also want to protect what you've created, right? You want to protect your assets and your legacy, and that's what a homestead declaration does. And to take it a step back to understand what a homestead declaration is, you have to understand what it's protecting. And what it's protecting is the equity in someone's home. So if you have a primary residence, you live in a home, there's a certain value associated with that property. You know, it fluctuates. The last couple of years, it's been on a rocket ship of acceleration, right? There's been value appreciation across the board with all residential homes. And, you know, some people are saying, oh my gosh, the bottom is falling out and the market's going to crash. But that would be a value that would be volatile, right? So your property value is what it is on the day that you take a snapshot picture of the value. So say your home is worth $500,000, right? And you have a mortgage for $200,000. The difference is your equity. The delta between the 200 and the 500, that $300,000 is your equity. That's what you would receive if you sold your home, right? You would pay off the mortgage and you would get your $300,000, obviously minus the wonderful real estate professionals who were able to get you that buyer and taxes and things like that. But for simplicity's sake, that $300,000 is what you're protecting, and that usually is a massive part of folks' net wealth, right? Their net worth incorporates the equity in their home. So how do we protect that? In Massachusetts, currently, if you own a primary residence, you automatically have protection for that first $125,000, right? But in the scenario I gave you, that wouldn't be protecting all of it. So taking the affirmative step of signing a declaration of homestead, which we provide at Stiles Law through our closing departments, you would record that and you would make the affirmative statement that I want to declare and protect my equity, the homestead of my home. So that delta, that equity would be protected up to $500,000 in that case. So your protection is much stronger. If you're quote unquote elderly, and the statute says 62 or older, I did not write the statute, 62 years old or older, or you're disabled, you can combine with a spouse and have two 500s equaling protections of $1 million. So what are you protecting? You have, we talked last week about umbrella insurance and the protection of your assets for liabilities. That's one way of protecting yourself through insurance. We have title insurance that protects interest in the title. But what about the homestead? You're protecting that equity from who? From creditors, somebody who may want to sue you. And like I mentioned previously, the equity in your home is oftentimes a majority of your net worth. So when somebody has a judgment against you and say they go and sue you and they want to collect on that, they're going to look for every asset, every dollar that you have. So they're going to look to your home and they would sue, they would get a judgment, and then they would levy on that judgment and force the sale of that asset to get to that equity. But a homestead declaration protects against that. So when they have declared the homestead, they cannot shake you down and make you homeless, right? To be as simplistic as possible. They can't sue, get judgment, levy on judgment, and take the value of your equity from you. So it's really important to have that. We also have the Homestead for Heroes. We created that concept over the last few years, and Homestead for Heroes is for folks who are on the front line, nurses, teachers, and such, that if they don't know if they have a homestead, we'll check it out for them. StilesH4H.com, Homestead for Heroes. So frontline folks, veterans, teachers, medical professionals, if you don't know if you have a homestead, StilesH4H.com. We also have videos on how to look at the Registry of Deeds, because it is all public and you can search it on the public registry of deeds. But check out our YouTube channel. You can search that just like Rob did, and you saw there was 4 videos on homesteads, but there's videos on all sorts of other interesting topics as well.
Good stuff. Mark Stiles, Route 139 in Marshfield. Stiles Laws on Route 139 in Marshfield. And you should get in touch if you have more questions. Get in touch with Mark and his team. And Mark, tell us how to do that.
The best way is through phone. Our concierge will put you in touch with the right team member at 781-319-1900. We have web presence as well, stiles-law.com and stiles-estates.com. But again, encouraging folks to go to the YouTube channel at Stiles Law, and there's a bunch of videos that talk about things that we talk about right here on Feel Good Friday.
Feel Good Friday, every Friday right after the news at 9 on WATD. Mark, have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Rob. Enjoy that reunion. Enjoy those folks that you haven't seen in a while.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.